From Mark Twain in the 1800s through to today, scholars have been coming up with more and more evidence pointing to William Shakespeare's authorship as, in fact, being a fiction, with theories for many years over the Dark Lady of the Sonnets being a Jewish woman. Now, a new book says that the real author of Shakespeare's famous works, including the Sonnets, is a black female poet by the name of Emilia Bassano. Here's more from our Nicole Zedek.
What if the bard wasn't a white man from Stratford at all? What if William Shakespeare was actually a Jewish black woman? Yes, quitely outlandish theory that is all being published in a new book by historian Irene Coslet, and it's titled The Real Shakespeare. And in this, Irene argues that Emilia Bassano, a Jewish woman of North African descent, one of the first women to actually publish poetry in the early 1600s, well, she was actually the man we all refer to as Shakespeare. Some of the most beloved works of all time, some of the most famous, Macbeth, Romeo and Juliet, Hamlet. Yes, those were all actually Emilia. That's according to this new theory that's been put forward by Irene. But why exactly was Emilia's name not on the works and Shakespeare's instead? Well, that's all because of the time that this took place, the late 1500s, early 1600s. All of these biases around gender, race, power, well, they pushed Emilia into the shadows and a white man from Stratford into the spotlight. If you think about the early 1600s, it's highly unlikely that a woman, let alone a Jewish woman of color such as Emilia, would be able to publish such dramatic works that Shakespeare actually wrote. And so that's the new theory that Irene Coslet is putting forward in this book. But as outlandish as it might sound, it's not totally a new theory altogether. For years, many scholars have questioned Shakespeare's authenticity, stating that he was either a pen name, that he was a fraud, that Shakespeare's actually a contribution or a compilation of multiple poets all under one name. And so for years, there has been speculation over the authenticity of Shakespeare, and Emilia Bassano has actually been linked to Shakespeare in the past. Besides her early poetry that was published in the early 1600s, many also believe that she's the Dark Lady of Shakespeare's sonnets. So there is some of this linkage, but for other historians, they say this is too outlandish and that Shakespeare's life has been well documented for years now, and so this is more conspiracy theories and people wanting to try and find exactly how one man could write so many of these works at this time. But still, whether this rewrites some history or remains just a footnote, it is certainly stirring up a fresh conversation about who gets to tell history and whose stories are actually told. And for any actual true lovers of Shakespeare out there, well, this would certainly be one of his or her biggest plot twists if true.